I'll get those points back. Don't worry. I'm usually the one who picks the games that end up on stream in low ink. So, we're rigging everything. I'm picking everything that I know. I'm putting everything on stream where I know ahead of time who is going to win, and I'm just going to keep doubling down my points over and over and over again until I get those 22,000 back. Let's see. If I got 100 points now. No, I might need to watch Testing Grounds on Friday and gamble on some of those games. Some of those Testing Ground matches are a little bit more predictable. But yeah, in hindsight, gambling my entire life savings on a team that hasn't been playing in several months probably wasn't the best idea. But we'll get those points back. And maybe I have a problem. Hi. Hello, Miss Popgun. I'll get those points back, don't worry. I'm good for it. Thank you for the host, Raichu23. Very good Pokemon. Hey, I feel like I know. I've been verifying a ton of teams for low ink. I feel like I know what team Raichu is on. I feel like I could look this up. How's it? It's good. Thank you for asking. How are for you? I'm turning into a gambling fiend. It's Twitch's fault. I bet, honestly, real Loki, I bet you this new prediction system is going to eventually turn people onto actual gambling for some real sports here. It is kind of exciting, but especially when you're just gambling points that can't really be used for anything, but still. I want to get to that 7 million, redeem 7 million for literally nothing kind of thing. And I feel like you can do that because if you just keep doubling, if you just keep letting it ride after every prediction, eventually you'll get up to a point. Somebody would have to do the math. If you gamble 100 points, how many times would you have to let that ride until you get up to 7 million? Because you win that, you get 200, and then 400, and then 800, and then 1600. Yeah, it's going to take a while. Then I say that out loud. It's going to take a couple of tournaments to get up to that point. Channel points are a gateway drug. Broken controller game. I told you not to tell me. I was going to look it up. Jeez. Spoilers. Full disclosure. I still don't have the top 10 done. I haven't written out everything I want to say about all 10 teams I have, but I don't really know. I still don't really know where to put these guys because they're all right with each other. So we'll see how this goes. The point being, don't take this episode of the Popcast you're about to hear and use it as a guide for how you should spend your channel points when predicting things this upcoming month. So this is going to be kind of weird. You'd have to get into permutations to see. Yeah, see, I haven't done permutations in 13, 14 years. I don't know the difference between a permutation and combination anymore, which is fine. I don't need to, and I never will, except for when I need to figure out how I can get all my gambling points back. So maybe that's not the best use of that ancient knowledge that I've never had to use. So good day to you, Smash. Or good afternoon to you, I should say. No. You can't just refund me. That's got to be against like some. That's got to be against like several state laws to just give me back all the points I lost gambling away. That's corruption. That is textbook corruption right there, JPEG. If you were to just give it back, I want to earn it back by fixing all the matches that we put on stream for Low Inc. for this month. No, that's not the. Don't feel bad. It's not my fault. Well, I don't need the odds of getting it. I need to know how many times I need to win consistently on my predictions to get up to 7 million. If I started off, I think I got like 100 points right now. I might have 200-ish. I mean, it's not hard to get like, to just accumulate channel points, but to get up to the 22,000 I had, it's going to take a while. But let's just say you start off with 100 channel points. How many times do you need to predict correctly if you're gambling the maximum amount of channel points you have every single time? How many games in a row do you need to predict to get back to the 7 million that I want to get to eventually? Wait, what are you talking about? Can't refund predictions? Yeah, well. Who truly can? You're at 12K right now. Put it all on. Come on, you could. Okay, so 12K. You start off this Low Inc. at 12,000 points. Bring up the calculator app. Welcome back to the Mathcast. Whenever you're listening to this. Okay, so 12,000 points. You get one right. Oh, shoot, that is not right at all. Hold on. 12. Dang, burn it. Alright, win one game. 24. 2 games. 48, 96. Oh yeah, like once you get up to like the thousands, you can start racking up points pretty easily here. If you guess, okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jess, if you take your 12,000 points and you guess every round of Swiss, those 6 rounds correctly, you can end up with 1,536,000. And then by the end of Low Inc, you'll have that stuff. Okay, so it's very easy. It's very possible to get to 7 million over the course of a Low Inc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh wait, no, you'd only have like 768,000. But still, you'd get to the 1 million, 1.5 million in the first round of Top Cut. Which Top Cut is going to be real. I wouldn't gamble any points on Top Cut this month. Should I really be giving channel point gambling advice here? I feel like this is... I feel like this has got to be against some rule or something that Twitch has. But... You're at 9K channel points here. Well, see, I don't really have anything to use points on. I guess I should start coming up with things. Maybe I should take all those ridiculous emotes of my face that JPEG has made and put them on here or something. Make a prediction. How could you do a prediction for a podcast? That doesn't make any sense. It's like the prop bets for the Super Bowl. Like, how many times will the announcer say a certain phrase? Like, that's... Like, you could rig those so easily. 100K channel points to commentate. Battle of the Free Agents. Oh, you know if there's going to be a Battle of Free Agent tournament that I am already... Like, I might solo commentate that. Okay, but the only way to, like... Oh, like, who do I think is going to be the #1 team? You see, like, I could rig that, though. Like, I could just see who put the most... Like, if it came down to Destiny troops and Sploot troops as who's the #1 team, and then most people put all their money on Sploot troops, I'm going to be like, well, Destiny troops is the #1 team, y'all lose. That's not fair. When is he going to talk about next? Ludi Div rant or Low-Ink preview? We already ranted about Ludi last week. Feel free to catch that on YouTube at 25 Popgun. Squids using guns, Master Academy. There is a team called Squids with guns. Or at least I think they're still a team. I don't know if they disbanded or not. You watch everything I do, Toph? That's awesome. When next month when I have the official, on episode 50 we're gonna have the official Popcast quiz. So make sure you brush up, and we're gonna figure out who pays attention the most to the things I say. And the winner can get channel points. How about that? What was I gonna do? Alright. Midway getting pushed back. We're actually going to talk about that real quick. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Popcast. Whenever you're listening to this, whether it be live or a VOD, Twitch or YouTube, while you're registering your team for Ludi and Low-Ink, changing your server name to Jackass Central at my suggestion, losing 22,000 channel points, betting on Deep Blues to beat Universal, whatever it is that you're doing right now, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Unless I don't. News, I guess. I don't really have... I'm not going to plug Minnow Cup and LSL again in the same week. I'll do that next week. Mainly because it seems like some of those tournaments are getting moved around. I'll get to that in a second. But of course, I do want to plug the fact that Low-Ink is happening in 2 days. And once again, I am telling you, I'm asking you to register now. Because there are consequences if you wait too long this time around. I believe at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Or is it 7 o'clock Eastern Time? You know what? Why don't you just get it in your brain that it is 7 o'clock Eastern Time, just to be safe? On Friday, registration is closing for Low-Ink. So those of you who thought, ooh, I'll just sign up my team Saturday morning where they're scrambling to verify everyone and I can sneak in my illegal player and they'll never find it. Nope. Can't do that this time around, jackass. You got to sign up your team now so that we actually have time. So that when we wake up on Saturday morning, everyone's going to be verified and we can just roll in and just start yelling at you morons and help desk for the stupid questions that you ask. So, if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Like, what? Why are you even watching this? Like, why? Like, if you seriously are watching this and you haven't signed up for Low Ink, what is your problem? Like where do you get off? Honestly, unless you're too good for Low Ink because you've won it or got outright banned from it, or yeah. So, which is honestly a good chunk of you in chat. So, for those of you, hey, thanks for still supporting Low Ink in the low level scene, even though you've proven that you've been a little too good for it in the past. Sending that love right back down is awesome. One thing I do want to gripe about before we get into Low Ink stuff. Of course, Ludi got announced earlier this week. Awesome. That's awesome. And a speed ladder tournament was happening, which we knew was going to happen. Speed ladder is always a tournament that seems to happen when Ludi comes back so that they can kind of use it as a way to get seeding done for teams that don't really have a lot of tournament results, or like these new pickups or projects, whatever the heck those are, that are going to form before Ludi happens but don't have any results. Then Speed Ladder plays in. Speed Ladder allows teams to get kind of results, and for Ludi seeding staff to get a sense of where those teams should be placed diff-wise. The problem with this speed ladder that I have, though, it was announced for, I believe, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, the 3rd. And what is wrong with that is that Minnow Cup and Midway already had that day set for them. Minnow Cup and Midway running at the same time is perfect because teams that play in Minnow Cup are not going to play in Midway, and the teams in Midway aren't even allowed to play in Minnow Cup. So it's perfectly fine for those two tournaments to go on at the same time. But it doesn't make sense to me that Ludi can just come right in and just say, hey, this thing that you guys have already planned, yeah, sorry, you need to move all of that because we're taking over this day. That's bull crap. I'm sorry. That is a load of bull crap. Now, I don't have full context, so it could have been that Ludi came in and had a conversation with both Minnow Cup and Midway before they announced the Speed Ladder tournament. It seems really odd that they would do that, and it seems really odd that they would just come in and just pick and be like, hey, we need April the 2nd. Like, we can't do April the 9th. We can't do a Saturday. The fact that they would just show up and be like, get out of the way. We're taking this date. Your tournaments are canceled or you need to move them. That's bull crap. And that doesn't sit well with me. Again, I understand that I don't have the full context of that, but just from somebody on the outside looking in, that I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. I mean, Midway literally has to change their entire season because of that. Midway came out and said, here are the dates for our whole week, all 4 tournaments, everything. All that has to get changed. Minnow Cup can't really move their tournament because LSL has their tournament set next Saturday, and the Launch Point Draft Cup is the Sunday right after when Launch Point when Minnow Cup was supposed to happen. So now Minnow Cup is thinking about doing it on a Friday, which means they lose everybody that would have played from Europe, which is a good chunk of the lower level community. So yeah, this is not a good look for Ludi and Speed Ladder. If they had the conversations and Midway and Minnow Cup just for whatever reason, bowed out and gave it to them, fine. If they didn't and they just said, we're taking this because we're Ludi and we get to do whatever we want and everyone else has to move and bow to us, that's not okay. And that's why people don't sign up for majors. Honestly, that's why people don't sign up for majors. It's because of crap like that. The fact that you can just roll in and you say, we're the big boy, we get to pick the date, and it's ours, and there's nothing you can do about it. Those days are gone. Honestly, those days should be gone. Like, that shouldn't be a thing that should still happen. And when people complain, when people say, why are low-level teams not signing up for majors going forward? That's where I'm going to point the finger right there. It's because that this is Walmart coming in and knocking out all of like the local businesses, basically. That's basically what's going on here. And again, I don't have the full context. That's just something I wanted to point out from an outsider looking in. Maybe I'll have more to say about that next week, but who knows. We're going to take a quick break because my microphone is like spiking, and I think it might have reset itself to something. So let me see if I can fix those mic settings real quick. Because I feel like I'm way louder. It's like spiking every time. JPEG says it sounds fine. Well, good for you, JPEG. And honestly, whenever I'm commentating, it's usually Ink Fair who's telling me like how to go through it and fix it. Because it's like microphone setup. Well, you guys are saying it's all fine, and I can't really figure out a way to adjust it on my own, so you guys are just going to be stuck with it. Okay, well, let's just keep going then. So, it's been announced the skill cap is being lowered for this low ink. I feel like we announce that we want to do that every single month, but never really do. This time around, we've actually had conversations about it and are actually implementing a little bit of a skill cap lowering this time around. Let me just read the actual language that was posted on our announcements here. We're once again working to lowering the skill cap for the low ink just a bit. The vast majority of teams will be safe from this. This is still a work in progress, so consider this a small warning to any team that may be borderline. Do not ask staff if you are banned. We're still working on this change. One thing I want to point out, of course, some people would ask if we were banned anyways, because, well, I mean, honestly, I would. I did, back when SAC was starting. I just straight up asked, like, hey, is Destiny Troops going to be allowed in this or no? So it's understandable people would ask. And I'm not sitting here like just coming back to announce that like here's the teams that are banned from like no, that's not my place to do that. The teams that have signed up that are banned have already been contacted. Most have taken it about as well as you can expect. One team, I've had to tell them no 4 times. And then they went to JPEG. Basically like, well, let me speak to your manager. And JPEG was like, come on, bro. It's funny because like sometimes every time they ask the same question, they just change the wording a little bit, expecting you to like give a different opinion or answer or something like that. But the answer is no. No matter how many times you cut it, no means no. Exact quote play in a different tournament. I mean, yeah, but I mean, again, it's understandable that people would be a little miffed that they get banned from low ink. I get that. When I make my top 10 though, usually it feels like teams in the 1 to 3 range, the top 3, usually seem like they are way on a different plane than the teams that are in like the 4 to 8 or the 4 to 10 category that I put in. Again, the top 10 is just my opinion. It's not something like people shouldn't be going like at here scrim Pop Gun's top 10 last month. Like, no, that's not that's not what the top 10 is meant to be. It's more my opinion than an actual ranking thing. But it always seems like there's 2 or 3 teams that are just, there's like, do we really need these guys to play this tournament? Can we just skip to where they're playing in semifinals of winners bracket? Because none of these other teams can touch them. Yeah, someone might like trip them up in Swiss and take a match away from them. Someone might take a game from them and post it on Twitter like it meant like taking one game off of a team is something to be truly excited about, which in some cases it is. But at the end of the day, like last month, we knew Deco X was going to be really good. Xylo waited to the last minute to sign up, so they didn't really get to be in my preview last month. But we knew Xylo was going to be pretty good. And not a lot of other teams could touch them. This time around, though, as I'm looking over at the teams that signed up already, as I'm formulating my top 10, as I know that the teams that haven't signed up yet that would be still eligible to sign up aren't really going to shake up things too much. It's come to this point to where I honestly debated making a top 10 at all, because I feel like there are just 10 to 12 teams that are dead even with each other. And it's really difficult splitting hairs and determining who's going to be a true number 1 team and who is going to be the true number 10 team, where it's like, you might win, you might not. But no, I think this is the most wide open. I think this will be the most competitive Low Link we've had since September of last year, when Xanadu won it, having to come from the losers bracket, getting knocked out by Ryzen, having to come back and beat Ryzen in a losers bracket, and then upset Last Chance. I feel like this is going to be one of those kinds of Low Links. It's wild. There's no favorite. There's no monster. There's no clear-cut team that can just stiff arm everybody. And I say that knowing full well there's going to be some new team that signs up late, and then it's going to be like nobody's going to know who they are, and they're just going to run this tournament. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be people who all can be easily verified. Like, oh, we went 2-4 on this team last month in Low Ink, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Turns out, if you just get placed with the right other 3 people, all of a sudden you become the next Rising Matrix. And not only are you too good for Low Ink, you're too good for SAC, and maybe you're going to dominate Midway as well. We'll get to that when we get to that. Whenever Ludi says that it's okay for Midway to do their tournaments. Now, getting banned, I get it. It's bittersweet. It's a bittersweet kind of feeling knowing that you are seen as too good to be playing in Low Ink, but on the flip side, you didn't win it. And you'll never get another opportunity to win it. That I completely understand. People want the clout of winning Low Ink. People want to play in High Ink, which who knows if that's going to be an actual thing or not, again. But I think people generally see winning Low Ink as an accomplishment. Being a part of that High Ink fraternity is something everybody strives for and something people are proud of. Again, there's people in chat who, like Luau is nowhere close to being a Low Ink team again, or any kind of low-level team at all, but you still see Luau players constantly in chat, especially whenever we talk about Low Ink. It's because they're proud of it. They're proud of the fact that they won Low Ink, that they're a part of the High Ink fraternity, as I like to call it. It means something, even if it's not going to be like Luau has already done things that trumps their Low Ink win on their resume, obviously, but it's still something they're proud of, and they should be. Same with every team, and I feel like people want to be a part of that, and then they would rather win it outright than being banned. You know, when we played in the SAC finals, I approached it with this mindset. Whenever you play in low ink, if you don't win, yeah, it sucks, but you always have next month to get an opportunity at it. In the SAC finals, in the back of my mind, it was always like, this is it. If I want to win SAC, this is my one shot. The mom spaghetti tournament is what I would call it. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. Because if you don't win SAC, you're gone. You'll never get another opportunity to play in it again. With low ink, that's not the case, though. You lose it, you usually get another shot. But now that the skill cap's getting lowered, and teams, I kind of hinted at this. I feel like some teams do avoid other tournaments so that they can keep their low ink eligibility. And as a result of that, some teams do get banned, and they don't really see it coming. So yeah, I understand the bittersweetness, because you never know when it's going to be your last. You never know when your next low ink is going to be your last one. If you're a gamma beta team, yeah, it's kind of assumed that you're going to be totally fine into coming back in the next month. But if you're an alpha bracket team and you're like, oh, if I do good in this other tournament, they might kick us out. So let's just not play in that tournament because we want to win low ink. So now it's becoming a point to where I'm thinking, is low ink starting to hurt the low level community a little bit? Just from that mindset. Now, we can't force other people to play in tournaments, but low ink is the biggest tournament we have in this community. Skill level, forget about the skill level. It's the biggest tournament. It's the monthly major. And it bans half of the community, which is what's hilarious about it. But still, 100 plus teams every single month. People want to win that. I think a problem is, maybe it's not so much low ink, but the fact that there is no low ink for the entire community. If there was a monthly major that was like, imagine if low ink was an open invite tournament. Every single month, 2 days, Swiss into multiple brackets that are double elim on day 2, because there's no reason to do a 2-day tournament with day 2 being single elimination. You are wasting everybody's time by doing that. But if there was like an open invite monthly tournament, don't call it mid-ink, no. Then I think that would help with some of the situation of people dodging other tournaments to stay eligible for low ink, because there's something more for people to be doing outside of just low ink. But yeah, again, it's not my place to be telling people what they should be doing, what your goals should be, what tournaments you should be playing in. Yeah, I pointed out the lack of teams that signed up for SAC, and I'm going to be doing that a little bit more over the course of this tournament, not calling out teams specifically, but more so being like, man, it would have been really cool if this team played in SAC even just one frickin' tournament instead of just skipping it altogether. And it is odd that we do have a lot of teams that don't have time to play in SAC, which is just a 4 or 5 hour tournament on a Saturday. But every single month, they have time for this massive major that takes up 2 days every single month. It's like, I think you are just straight up dodging SAC at that point. But still, I get it though. And I don't know. I kind of lost track of where I was there. I was ranting a little bit. One other thing I do want to point out, though. Ludi is coming back. And I've said, Ludi divs coming back for the first month is fine. That's fine, because those divs, when they come out, they're going to be fresh. They're going to be relevant. They lose relevancy a whole lot quicker than what a lot of people give it credit for. But as soon as they come out, it's going to be fine and accurate. So the question now is going to be, when we get those Ludi divs, and it seems like we're going to get them before the next low ink, who's still going to be eligible for this tournament? It's going to be interesting to see who really is Div 3 and who's not. And yes, I'm not going to go on another rant calling out all you idiots that say you're Div 3 when you've never even sniffed alpha bracket. But it's like we've been kind of wandering blind through the forest, determining for ourselves who we think is Div 4 and who isn't. And then we're going to get to the end of the forest and somebody's going to give us a map and be like, here's the route you should have taken, or no, actually the route you've been following was the correct one the whole time. So that's what Ludi coming back for next month is going to be. And next month's Low Ink is going to be, in theory, really competitive because we're going to have somebody else's information to kind of use. Not that I think we should rely completely on Low Ink's Ludi's Div. What I would be interested in seeing is like a typical beta bracket team does find a way to slide into Div 3. Would they be truly banned from Low Ink, or would we use common sense here and be like, this is still a Low Ink team? Like, Ludi might see them as Div 3, but we know in our hearts of hearts that they are not better than all these other teams that straight up play in Low Ink as well. So it's going to be interesting to see that. But again, that's something that I am somewhat excited about for Ludi coming back, is to seeing those legit divs. Until that happens, though, for those of you that are still eligible for Low Ink, take advantage of it. Don't let it hold you back, though. Don't. And yeah, I feel like there is more clout in winning Low Ink than there is in winning other tournaments, because nobody pays attention unless somebody drops 22 channel points on your team to lose. And when you win, then that makes a little bit of a headline. But those headlines get forgotten real quickly. Could anybody name who won SOS last night? I think it was Bad Burger. I commentated that and I remember that. Who won SOS last week? Who won Testing Grounds 2 weeks ago? Who won Reef Rushdown last week? Who won King of the Castle, the first ever King of the Castle? Now, most people watching this are low level, so yes, of course, mostly you would be paying attention to things like that. And the people answering it are in the IPL staff, so of course you guys are the ones who would know the answer to that. It's your frickin' tournament. But who won the last Low Ink? Who won Low Ink in December? I feel like more people would know that. Who won Low Ink in October? I feel like more people would know that. And that's probably a problem of how we perceive some of these tournaments. Again, I'm not calling for more tournaments. I'm not calling for more majors. Or I guess maybe I am. But I think the point I'm getting at is I understand why teams dodge other tournaments to stay eligible for Low Ink. I understand why teams would rather would avoid SAC, would avoid Aquatic Cup or anything like that, because they feel like they might do too much to where they win or get banned. I understand that. But in the back of my mind, I'm starting to think, are we holding people back from what they truly could be? Is there enough to where teams will want to be excited about not just winning Low Ink, but from being banned from Low Ink because they know that means that's the next step for them, other than being pushed out the door and then them realizing like, oh crap, it's really scary out here without Low Ink around. What am I going to do next? This is this territory Destiny Troops is stepping into now. We don't have SAC anymore. Obviously, we don't have Low Ink, so it's like we got Midway. We got the Midpoint Cup, but what's next after that? So maybe we should come up with something else as a community. I'm just kind of brainstorming right here out loud at this point. Probably rambling a little bit too much, but hey, just some food for thought. Anyways, let's move on with the preview. I was going to say Low Ink graduates need somewhere to go if they get banned. Well, okay, so there's another issue, is like SAC is the obvious place. And again, I pointed out only 10 teams that played in SAC this past season were ineligible for low ink. The answer should be 24 teams played in SAC that were ineligible for low ink, and that wasn't the case. So, yeah, it's a problem of teams getting pushed out the door and not. And you know what the real problem is? Teams getting pushed out the door, and then they go back to the exemption request and try to get back in. They're like, no, you pushed me out too early, or no, I actually sucked. I lied when I said I was Div 2. I didn't mean it. Moving on. Moving on. New teams of note to be playing in this tournament. Some interesting names for you guys. First off, Untitled Duck Crew. I have no idea who I doubt these guys. You know, I'm always surprised at who listens to the Popcast. Whenever I just kind of mention names and somebody DMs me like, "Hey, you mentioned my team," and I'm like, "Oh crap! I didn't realize. I don't even remember." So I'll like go back and listen, but like, what did I say about this team? Did I say anything bad about them? Are they like trying to pick a fight with me or something? But no, it's never the case. But Untitled Duck Crew, brand new team. Keep an eye out for them. I just like the team name. It's not a new. I don't think it's a team of players. I think they're all new players. And we found like their Twitter, so I think that's kind of what we used to verify them. But they seem like a new team, and I just wanted to point out Untitled Duck Crew is a team name that I somewhat like. I point out a lot of team names I think are dumb, so if I see one that I think I enjoy for whatever reason, I'm going to point it out. Another team name I like to point out, Dino Nuggies. Are dinosaur nuggets, chicken nuggets, even a real thing anymore? Like, I know, like I feel like that was something that was back in my day, but if children are growing up in a world with dinosaur chicken nuggets, then I think society is still going to be all right. So the problem with Dino Nuggies is they're not in the Discord server, so it's not likely they're actually going to play or anything, which always makes me curious. How do people find out about Low Ink and sign up for Low Ink when they don't even have Discord? Like, how do you know this is a thing? It always happens every single month. There's always one team that signs up for Low Ink, but just don't have a Discord, and it makes no sense to me. And of course, they never check in, because how would they know to check in? They're not reading the announcements or anything like that. So don't expect them to play. But when you got a name like Dino Nuggies, we're going to give you some attention here. Psychedelic Air Launchers. What the heck kind of a team name is that? I had to look it up, and I actually know what these things are. They're like little air cannons. So it's like imagine like a megaphone, right, with a trash bag in it, and you like pull it back, and when you let it go, it like shoots a gust of air to where if you had like bowling pins that are like not like legit bowling pins that are made of wood, but if you had like plastic bowling pins, you could knock them down with this. Think of it like a pop gun, except it's actually fun. So I had to Google that, and psychedelic air launchers. I like that. We'll give credit for that. That's a cool name. This is a team from Little Squid League. They participate in Little Squid League 11. I slightly mentioned them when I recapped that tournament, and they are now coming over to their first Low Ink. So welcome, psychedelic air launchers. PAL. Hey, people know PAL? PAL's produced other team. Is that real? I did not know that. I legit did not know that. I didn't know there was another Purdue team. So ITAP. ITAP's not registered as of right now, but PAL is. Okay, so now I'm actually more interested. Honest to God, I did not know. I did not know that. I just like the team name. So now, okay, cool. I'm gonna actually pay attention to this team now, since they're just a few hours north of me, so way more interested in Team PAL than I was before. But I don't know, I just thought the name was cool. What a coincidence there. Another team name I want to point out, the Bob Ross Special. Now, this is the same team last month who went by the name Vimo Timo. So I guess they're just coming out with a new team name every single month. It's the same roster. It's literally the same roster as Timo Vimo. So credit to that. And I think they changed their tag every month too to match whatever the team name they are now. But this time around, they are the Bob Ross special, which is cool. Hopefully they're glad they enjoyed Low Inc last time and they're coming back here. I don't think they did particularly amazing, but still, it's not always the point here. Vaporwave playing in their first Low Inc. This team finished second place in LSL 11, second only to the Mahi Mahi Monsoon team. So Vaporwave looked pretty strong in that tournament. And traditionally, we haven't really seen LSL teams come in the next month and play well. Not play well, but dominate in the way that we've seen them dominate in LSL. Obviously, the competition's a little bit higher, but Vaporwave seemed to be pretty comfortable all the way to grand finals, and Mahi Mahi Monsoon and Vaporwave seem pretty even with each other, and I'm going to be talking about the Monsoon team pretty highly when I talk about some other teams in the future here. So Vaporwave might be in position to have one of the better results of a second place LSL team that we've seen in recent history. But we'll have to wait and see how they do here. But keep your eye on Vaporwave. I think they're pretty good. But we'll find out how good they really are this month. A couple of teams are coming to us still from the NA Open. Yes, the last NA Open we are ever going to see, because we gave Nintendo the middle finger, and they were like, okay, we're gone then, bro. So, but still, we are still seeing the benefits of the NA Open. I've always said the NA Opens are the most important tournaments we have in this community, so it is kind of scary that they're gone, but still, here are some new teams that are playing in their first Low Inc. that did play in that NA Open tournament. 5th Woomy Division, Pixel Inc., and Nova Rising. Not Nova, the EU team, that I don't know if we'll see them in Low Inc. again, but a new team called Nova Rising. So welcome those guys in. If you play 5th Woomy Division, Pixel Inc., Nova Rising, welcome them to the competitive community. Maybe share some information about Low Inc. or LSL. I mean, other tournaments they might be interested in. These NA Open teams, they're usually casuals. And we have seen some NA Open teams do pretty well in Low Inc. in their first time. We saw a team last month, I think, do decently well in Gamma Bracket. So it's this is the tournament these kinds of teams should be playing in, because it gives them a true sense of what competitive is, other than the nonsense the NA Opens usually are, even though I thought the Speed Ladder was a nice format, even though we'll never get it again. So always nice to see new people come from the casual side and transitioning to a full-time competitive kind of scene. So keep an eye out for those teams and welcome them properly to the competitive scene. You're technically on Nova Rising. You ain't for this tournament. I'll tell you that right now. That ain't gonna fly. Pickup teams. I got a couple. I think I've caught 2 of them here. And again, I don't really know the difference between a pickup and a project. Maybe I do, but I don't know at what point a pickup team becomes a project. So let's just call this the pickup project teams that I found. 2 of them. First off, anything besides Among Us. The reason why I say I don't know if this is pickup or project anymore is because they played last month. And they made alpha brackets, did decently well in alpha brackets. So now that you think the skill cap is being lowered, you would assume that a team like this stock would go up. So anything but besides Among Us should have another decent result here as well. The casual dynamic squids, CDS, that just dawned on me. CDS. That's why that team is called that. The team is notable players on this one are Japanda, formerly of Tooniverse, and Bohemian, formerly of a team called Hurricane that was Div 5 last season, if you guys remember the Hurricane team. I just looking at this roster, I feel like this team might do pretty well. I don't know. I don't know how well they're going to do. I would predict them to be the beta, lower end of alpha kind of range, just by the roster itself. But it's a team I'm definitely interested in. The Casually Dynamic Squids, a team I'll be keeping an eye on this tournament. It wouldn't surprise me if they did crazy well. The problem, once again, and I say this every month, with pickups, we've seen pickups play in... We've seen pickups play every single month. We've seen pickups do decently well. We've seen pickups do make alpha bracket and take some wins in alpha bracket, but we've seen a pickup win beta bracket, but we've never seen a pickup team come close, like threateningly close to winning a low ink. And I don't think that's going to be the case anytime in the future. Again, in theory, you shouldn't want to create something like, you shouldn't have a pickup team winning a skill cap tournament. That kind of defeats the purpose of what a skill cap tournament is. And I would have to do some research. I think the last time a true pickup team has even won low ink would have to be 2019 at the earliest, because it didn't happen at all last year. But still, these two teams are notable. Pickup projects, whatever you want to call them. Sometimes pickup teams turn into actual teams if they do really well. So keep an eye on those guys. Gamma teams, or teams that have potential to make Gamma bracket that didn't last month. Finals are over was basically Triton. Yeah. They just did a pickup name for themselves for whatever reason. I guess it's because they were really excited that finals was over. I guess one of 3 college teams we have now, since Psychedelic Air Launchers has been confirmed to be the third college team that traditionally plays in this. Nazareth College actually had a team for a little bit as well, but I haven't seen those guys in a while. Maybe they play in the CCA, which I know happened, I think, this past weekend, but I didn't really pay attention to that. Anyways, moving on. Teams that have potential to make Gamma bracket that didn't this time last month. How about System of a Splashdown? You know, I was listening to the Moray Taverns podcast, hosted by Smash of 60% Fish Puns. And this was a team that got interviewed on one of the episodes. And I listened to that episode, and it was really cool. It's cool to hear other teams talk about low ink. It's like being a fly on a wall and hearing like an actual VC conversation between two teams. It seemed like older teams as far as like the player base is concerned for those teams. It's just hearing System of the Splashdown talk how they feel about low ink, how they approach it. It was cool to see. It was interesting, and I definitely recommend that episode of the Moray Taverns podcast that you can find on Twitch, on Twitter, I should say. But for System of Splashdown, they went 3-3 last month. They have made Gamma brackets in the past. Just the fact that they keep grinding and are getting more experience with each tournament that they play in makes me think they can do what it takes to get back to that Gamma bracket level that they've been in the past. Again, when you traditionally finish 3-3, it just kind of comes down to opponent win percentage. Is it good enough or not for you to make it into Sunday for the next time? And getting that fourth win, for a lot of teams, getting that fourth win is really difficult, especially in rounds 5 or 6. But what we traditionally see, teams that stick it out and keep grinding eventually become more consistent in round 5 and round 6, using their experience from all the low inks that they've gathered to get some wins when it really needs to, when you really need to clutch out and get that win to qualify for Sunday. So just wanted to point that out. Listen to the System of the Splashdown. It's a good interview, good listen. So look for them to possibly get back into Gamma Bracket. Can I really go an entire episode of the Popcast without mentioning the Wiggly Phantoms at some point? I feel like I haven't talked about them in years because it's been like a couple of episodes since I've said anything about them. Clearly one of my favorite teams that I have here. Yes, I do have favorites. Some of you I hate, some of you I enjoy, and I enjoy the Wiggly Phantoms. Here they go. Rough month last month. Who cares? You can have mulligans, guys. It's fine to have a mulligan. If you're a team that's looking to contend for low ink every single month, I don't think you can really get a mulligan for that. Because consistency usually leads to you eventually winning low ink. But having one bad month, it happens. And I feel like Wiggly Phantoms are going to bounce back from this one. Maybe make Gamma potentially. I mean, they have beta bracket potential. But I think if they just get back into Gamma and do some damage there, there'll be a good bounce back for them. Ink Eye. A team that has been playing in a lot of these low-level tournaments. They got to 3-3 last month, and they seem to play in every low-level tournament. LSL, well, maybe not LSL, but every Minnow Cup, Ash Cups. By the way, when are we going to get our next Ash Cup? We're not going to have one this month, and I feel like we should have. And every low ink. So, Ink Eye's been around for several months now. I want to say back in October was maybe the first time they played, maybe earlier than that. So Ink Eye starting to turn that corner. I think they're going to start making Gamma brackets consistently, if not this month, maybe next month. But they're getting there. Last team I wanted to point out, and this is my new favorite team name in the entire tournament, the Sleepy Seals. I just like that. I don't know. I call them the Sweepy Shields if I ever commentate those guys. They went 3-3 last. The last 2 months they've gone 3-3. Again, consistently going 3-3. Eventually, opponent win percentage is going to work out in your favor. Eventually, you turn that corner in round 6 and you go 4-2. Sleepy Seals, keep at it. With a name like that, you're eventually going to be a team that I reach out to interview in the podcast just because I like your team alone. Your team name alone. But yeah, Sleepy Seals, keep an eye out for them. Beta potential teams. iTap is dead to JPEG? Dang. Sweepy Seals roll. The Sweepy Seals. Beta bracket potential teams. 2 teams I want to point out that were consistent in Gamma bracket last month that have yet to sign up, and maybe they sign up during this episode of the podcast, but I haven't seen them yet. Spirit Incorporated won Gamma bracket. They haven't signed up yet. Radioactive, I believe, finished in 3rd or 2nd place in Gamma bracket. Have not signed up yet either. So those are notable teams that you would assume would make the jump up to beta level. But since they haven't signed up, that's all I can really say about them. Instead, let me say some things about these 3 teams. First off, Squid Society. These guys went 3-3 last month. They didn't qualify. Zuno, they didn't qualify for Gamma bracket outright. I think they made it because some other teams dropped, but they didn't technically qualify for Gamma bracket. And I saw that, and I was just like, oh well, okay. Then we saw what they did in Minnow Cup, making top cut in that. And then making gold bracket in midpoint. And then it was like, okay, the low ink they had last month, that was more of just a fluke loss. That was just more of like a mulligan we should give them, because these guys are actually pretty doggone good. So this team that didn't make Gamma legitly last month, I think has potential to move up to get beta bracket level this time around and to skip Gamma altogether, because they seem to be better than what they showed us last month. Mahi Mahi Masoon, the Little Squid League 11 champions. And again, I don't usually put Little Squid League 11 or Little Squid League champions in general very high on my look out for them lists when I do my low ink previews, because they don't do well. They flat out arguably make Gamma Bracket, if that. Sometimes this don't make Gamma Bracket at all. It doesn't always directly translate into immediate success in the next low ink. I think Mahi Mahi Masoon is a different beast, though. They pretty much swept their way through that tournament until they came across Vaporwave and gave a very, very entertaining best of 7 game 7 match that just went into their favor. I believe it's the K-Gal player that just got a key triple or quad on the Tower Control Art Academy game that finally put it into their favor. But Mahi Mahi Masoon looks like one of the better LSL champions we've seen in a while. No disrespect to my Wiggly Phantoms, but I think they have what it takes to and of course they were a Gamma Bracket team last month. I think they can bump up to beta. I think they're pretty good. Finally, I want to talk about Enigma. Usual Gamma Bracket team here, but they got some notable wins last month. And like Ink Eye, a team I said the longer they stick around, the better they do. Enigma is getting to be one of these teams that's sticking around for a long time. They're constantly scrimming, constantly grinding, constantly in league. So you got to think eventually they are going to get up to that beta bracket level. I think this month they might be able to take that turn and bump themselves up to that category. Alpha bracket teams that didn't make alpha last month. Now, I'm going to be talking about a lot of teams coming up in my honorable mentions, my top 10 that didn't make alpha bracket last month. So there's really 2 teams I want to mention here in this section. First off is the Ink Strike Inklings. These guys have turned the corner. Again, I've said they had like a rough January or a rough December. Whatever that is, it's gone. They're making top cuts again. They're making they're doing really well in like the beta brackets. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat again. And I think they can finally turn the corner here and get into alpha bracket just because they are consistently moving upwards without falling back down. We've seen enough information from the Ink Strike team to get the sense that they have legit turned the corner and they're not going back. So this month, if they can make alpha bracket, I think we'll really lock them in as a contender going forward. Last team I want to talk about here, the Dream Knights. This team disbanded, and then Ludi got announced, and then they undisbanded. I don't think I've ever seen a team disband and undisband so quickly as the Dream Knights. But this is a good thing, because the Dream Knights, I've said before, are sneaky good. I don't think people realize that the Dream Knights are legit, and they are a legit alpha bracket contender. And I think this month they might do good enough to where we can just drop the fact that they are sneaky good and just say they're just good. Whatever caused them to disband, though, is kind of a concern, and the fact that a team would just reband, I guess, as Dino pointed out right there. That's concerning. Again, it's none of my business why they disbanded or whatnot, but that gives you kind of a synergy concern. But if they play the way that they have been playing leading up to this point, I think they'll continue to improve and show why they are a pretty good team. Let's go into the honorable mentions and let's get to the top 10. That's the wrong thing. There we go. Scheduling conflicts and a lack of practice. You know what I love about Destiny Troops? Some weeks we'll scrim every single day, and then other weeks it's like, hey, I got a project I need to do, I can't play, or hey, we've been a team for 2.5 years, I just need a mental break for a week or so. And we're always cool with that. Like, there's some weeks we just don't do anything, and it's fine. The fact that when you're in a relationship, you're in a good spot when you can just go to eat breakfast with each other and not say a word to each other, and you're not concerned like, oh, he hasn't talked to me all day, he hates me. Like, no, we just enjoy each other's company. When you're in a team and you get to the point to where you're like, okay, we're just not going to scrim this week because we just don't feel like it, or we're busy with IRL stuff. And nobody's like, oh, this is it, we're disbanding, or oh, we all hate each other, we gotta quit the team. Like, no, we're so chill with that. When you get to that point as a team, that's when you know you're in a good situation and you're surrounded by good people. I love my team. I never miss an opportunity to brag about them. Brag about my teammates. Hey, somebody should vouch Zonink, Zoinks, whatever you want to call him. Put that dude in +3 for real. Like, did he not do enough in the SAC finals to show you that dude's really good? Like, put that guy in +3. Come on now. He's better than most of you in +3 anyways. Honorable mentions. Teams that didn't make the top 10, but I want to mention to some capacity. Anyways. First off, Geek Squids. They're not in my top 10 this time. Uh-oh. I said, and they really liked this analogy when I pointed it out. I said they had a window to win a tournament a couple of tournaments ago. The window is closed, but they really like that window analogy, I feel like, for some reason. So here's what I'll say about them. We need to see the Geek Squid start punishing people. Everyone always has it's almost a rite of passage for everyone in the low-level tournament to say that they've beaten the Geek Squids, a team that you would think has no excuse to be losing to teams that are below them. But I've always said this. They play up to teams above them. They play down to teams below them. What we need to see from the Geek Squids is they need to start punishing people who have no business beating them. We need to see more 3-0 sweeps, more KOs. If you're the Geek Squids and you like the window analogy, here's what I would tell you. Force the window back open this month. That would be what we need to see. We need to see no upsets, no bad losses, no 2-1 results to a team that like is struggling to make Gamma Bracket. No, the Geek Squids are the punisher. Yes, I agree. The Geek Squids are the punisher. We need to see them start punishing people this month. A good opportunity to do so. Can't talk about that team because they're not playing. Thimbo IHOP. Man, I want to put these guys in because I feel like they're pretty good. Since they've added AJ to their roster, I feel like they're a completely different team. And I don't know. I feel like they can make Alpha Bracket again. It's just I don't feel comfortable saying they're a team that can win this tournament just yet. I feel like they're a team that can be top 10 next month. But I don't know. It's just slight things we need to see. Of course, they made Gold Bracket in the most recent Midpoint Cup, but I don't know. We just need to see a little bit more. Last team I'm giving the honorable mention to. If you want an official number 11 team, and this might surprise a lot of people, but the official number 11 team I have for this is Resilience. Toxic Haze is disbanded. The Destiny Cadets. Oh, that sucks. I miss those guys. But Silver and Gudako, the CDS/K Pro player and the Charger Anchor player for Toxic Haze, have now joined up with Resilience. And I love this matchup. I love this new revamped Resilience roster. I love it a lot. You combined two really good players for Toxic Haze with I believe Daybreak is the name of the Nautilus player. And they got a really good Tri-Slosher in Julian already. And then you add it with, you got Carbine, who I've had on this podcast several times, who is one of the better captains, one of the better leaders we have in Low Inc. And you'd have that guy who can kind of get everybody on the same page and mold them together. I feel like Resilience is going to be really good next month. You need some time for synergy. When your roster gets revamped that much, you need some time to figure out some synergy here. I wouldn't be surprised if Resilience did really good. I would be surprised if Resilience won it, but I feel like they need more time in the oven before they before they start popping off in some of these tournaments here. Just not quite there yet. But I feel like they are going to be there. You're not a captain, no, but you're a good leader. A leader of men. Doesn't mean you have to be the captain of the team specifically. Teams I'm not going to mention in the top 10 for various reasons. Where did I put that down? I know oh, here it is. I got 3 pages of notes, and they're all over the place. First off, Symphony. Symphony made top 8 in SAC. They're still eligible for low ink. They just ain't playing this month. Probably too busy. The Deep Fried Octolings. No! Dang it! I wanted to see these guys play, but they tweeted out. It's funny. I follow a lot of you guys' teams' accounts just to keep up with what you're doing. I follow the Deep Fried Octolings, and they tweeted out kind of like a press release. We are not going to be playing this month. I think they said they'll be back next month or something like that. So, sharing that press release that their media relations guy shared on Twitter yesterday. So, sucks, but is what it is. Obviously, not talking about Toxic Haze. They disbanded, as I just mentioned. Amnesia has not signed up yet. These guys have made alpha bracket, excuse me. They made alpha bracket 2 months in a row and have started winning games in alpha bracket. But Amnesia, at least as the time that I looked, they have not signed up yet. So I'm not going to be mentioning them. Also, Battle Chip is an interesting team. They asked for a player to get exempted, and that player got denied. So I don't know if that means they're not going to play or not. But Battle Chip has not signed up yet either. So, not going to mention them. But for the top 10, let's get right into it. Can I get rid? No, I got to use all 3 of these papers. Someday I'll get actually organized. And not write Popcast episodes while I'm drinking. Number 10. I feel like Twisted Time deserves a spot here. Grand Finals of Silver Bracket 3 times in SAC. A second place finish in Beta Bracket last month. And I feel like that level of consistency should lead to greater things. Yes, they got 10th place in SAC overall. And that used to mean that you are too good for low ink. But the reason they got that high in SAC placement is because the silver bracket existed to begin with. If they didn't have a silver bracket, then they wouldn't be finishing in 9th and 10th place consistently. They'd be finishing around 12 or 13 or 16th place consistently, which would take some points away from them. But they really benefited from the silver bracket and racked up a lot of wins in those tournaments, which proves that they are a really good team when it comes to bracket formats. The problem is getting to those brackets. No alpha bracket experience, no SAC top cut experience, so we don't really know how well they would do in those in those kind of bracket settings. But considering the typical SAC silver bracket team is what they will be facing in alpha this month, I think they have a shot at winning. A small shot at winning, but it's definitely within the realm of possibility for these guys. They just have to really lock in on Saturday and actually qualify for alpha bracket. Number 9. Speaking of beta bracket teams, Unlighted is back after taking the bronze medal in beta last month, after winning Minnow Cup Splat Zones edition, after making alpha bracket in January. But this is one of the teams that won't benefit from skipping out on SAC. A lot of teams they will face did and gained extra experience in synergy that Unlightened didn't by missing out on all 4 of the SAC tournaments. The difference, though, and why they are 1 spot above Twisted Time, they beat Twisted Time in Aquatic Cup 2.5. So who knows? Maybe maybe there are other ways to prove yourself outside of SAC, and it would be difficult to keep a Minnow Cup winner off of this top 10 list, even though we haven't traditionally seen Minnow Cup winners transition to success directly the next month in low ink. But we haven't seen enough since last month to warrant placing them any higher than this. Number 8. Synergy is a team I always assume would be a low ink contender since they played in the first since they played in their first tournament, the Minnow Cup Tower Control, back in November, and got second place to the Sea Boys. They followed that up by making top 6 in December of low ink. But this is the first time I've had them in my top 10, mainly because they struggle with consistency issues. They went 3-3 in a Minnow Cup, failed a beta bracket in January, and the only tournament they played in since last low ink was the Minnow Cup Rainmaker, where they got 8th place. So I don't know, I feel like they are a top 10 team, but I'm just not comfortable putting them much higher than this until they show a more consistent level of consistency. Now, they did make Alpha Bracket last month, and that is going to pay dividends for them going into this month over some other teams that didn't. But until they start getting actual legit results, I can see them as a team that can win this tournament, but I feel like some other teams should be placed higher above them. Number 7. Aqua Affinity would have been a top 8 contender for SAC if they played in more than just the one tournament that they did last season. In fact, we haven't seen them play in any tournament since the last low ink. That's really going to work against them here. Still, what they accomplished last month is notable. Tied for 5th in Alpha Bracket, key wins against the Evening Chickens and Twice, went 5-1 on Saturday, lost to the Krusty Crew, with their only loss being to the Krusty Crew. That's impressive. But again, the teams that finished ahead of them did play in other tournaments this month. Played in SAC, Minnow, Testing Grounds, getting more tournament experience, which you can't really replicate in scrims alone. Now, I'm not bashing them for not playing in more tournaments. You can play in what you're available for. But the question for them is, can they hold on to their 5th place finish that they got last month and improve upon it while at the same time stiff-arming all the other teams that are below them and making sure they don't catch up and pass them? That's traditionally difficult to do. If you finish in the top 5, it's hard to stay in that spot next month. But just looking at how Aquafinity did with wins they got last month alone makes you think they can beat anybody, if not everybody. Number 6. I've always said that Tonkin has yet to have a bad tournament. Top cut in Ash Cup, top cut in Minnow Cup Splat Zones, 2nd place in Minnow Cup Rainmaker, 5th place in Beta in January, 1st place in Beta in February. All these results are fantastic for any team, and it shows consistency. There's a problem, though. They have never had a bad tournament, yes, but they've never had a great Saturday. If you want to win low ink, which they are capable of doing, you need to get at least 5 wins on Saturday, or hope that your opponent win percentage is good enough to cover for your 4 wins. Now, they don't really have any bad losses on the 2 Saturdays they have played. Evening Chickens, Solutions, the Krusty Crew, those are all quality losses. And all teams that I have ranked above them. But if they want to win this low ink, they have to beat all of those teams at some point this weekend, whether it be on Saturday or Sunday. Regardless, this is the best team without an Alpha Bracket appearance on their resume, but it needs to happen this month. Number 5. Solution has made a name for themselves as being a gatekeeper. ITAP can't get past them. The Krusty Crew can't get past them. But who gatekeeps the gatekeepers? Deco X, Twice, and Battleship were the only teams to eliminate them in Alpha Bracket the past 2 months. None of those teams are here right now. But despite all of the top cuts in Minnow Cup, back-to-back Alpha Bracket, they don't have a signature result yet. Like many teams on this list, this is their chance. There is no team here that they can't beat. And honestly, I feel like this is the safest team to guarantee that they will actually make Alpha Bracket, just because they tend to not let other teams below them pass them up. But they need a signature result here, like a top 5, a top 3 result. And if not now, when? Because there are a lot of teams that will celebrate when these guys finally win and get banned from low ink so that they can finally progress up and get past them. Number 4. Where is my number 4 team? Did I not have a number 4 team? Hold on. Oh, here they are. Make sure you're sober when you write your podcast episodes. Number 4. If we just went by standings alone from last month, the Krusty Crew, who finished number 4, is the best team in this month's low ink. Is the Krusty Crew ready for the number 1 spot, though? No. No, they're not. Now, I'm not saying last month was a fluke. You can't accidentally beat teams like Amnesia, Battle Chip, Toxic Haze, Aqua Affinity twice, and Tonkin. You can't do that by accident. Just getting one of those wins for the Krusty Crew would have been impressive, but all 6? That's not a fluke. But, I need to see it again. I feel like they need to see it again as well. The only other tournament they played in since last month's low ink was the Rainmaker Minnow Cup, where they went 4-2 and lost in round 1 to Solution, one of the few teams to beat them in this past low ink as well. But this month clearly, for this month, clearly they have shown that they don't have the potential to beat anybody. They have beaten everybody. Not named Solution or Thimbo IHOP. But can they do it again now that everyone is going to be the ones that are gunning from them? We talk about this a lot. You do well, all of a sudden you go from being the hunter to the hunted, and situations change a little bit there. That's the question for Krusty Crew that they will have to answer this weekend. And I can't believe I'm putting a Krusty Crew team at number 4 on this list, but that shows how impressive of a result it was that they had last month, making their first Alpha Bracket and doing some serious damage in it. Number 3. The first low ink Tyrant Inc. played in. Here's your trivia question for the day, and I'm running out of time, so I'm not going to wait for you to answer that. The August low ink in 2019. 25 teams played in that tournament, and only Outcast Ninjas is the other team from that tournament that is still eligible to play in low ink today. In fact, the Outcast Ninjas have already signed up for this tournament. Tyrant Inc. is old, and they're tired of low ink. So much so that they skipped beta last month when they failed to qualify for alpha. Fair enough. Once again, I'm not going to blame teams for skipping Sunday if they get into the bracket that they don't feel like they want to play in. But that means their mindset is anything short of winning this tournament is a failure for them. So what gives them a chance this month? Yes, a third place result where they traded matches with Red Sun helps in the Squids Out of the Water tournament that only had 8 teams sign up, but the 8 teams that signed up are notable for this low ink. But more so, I'm impressed that they got third place in the most recent midpoint gold bracket, where they swept the Crustacean Crusaders, Thimbo IHOP, and beat Tonkin as well. That's more impressive. They are also a consistent team when they make alpha bracket, making deep runs in the loser side of it. You can very easily make the case for them being the number one team. But that win at all cost mentality of if we don't make alpha, we're not going to play because we don't care about winning beta bracket anymore, can cause you to play a little more tense on Saturday. Knowing you need to get 5 wins and you can only fail to trip up once can lead to you playing a little bit more tense and leading you to you getting a loss against a team you have no business losing to. That's the trap Tyrant Inc. has to avoid. But if they get to alpha bracket, I think they're definitely going to be a contender to end up somewhere on the podium. Number 2. Red Sun will be the first team ever to have played in a SAC finals and then come back and play in low ink. Some would argue that alone should make them ineligible for low ink. And yes, they took games off of Xanadu and Destiny Troops in the SAC finals and won the most recent Minnow Cup. The one thing all of those wins have in common, though, they were all on Rainmaker. Here, they have to win on all of the 4 modes, not just Rainmaker. And that's been an issue for them on Saturdays in low ink, where they haven't qualified for alpha bracket since September. Now, they did get 5 wins in January and got screwed over by the massive number of teams that played in that month, becoming the only team ever to win 5 wins, to get 5 wins on Saturday and not qualify for alpha bracket. Rough. So they can definitely get back into alpha bracket. But to think that this usual beta contender is going to come back into alpha bracket and run it completely through, well, if you didn't include their result in the Squids Out of the Water tournament, where they finished in second place and forced a bracket reset against Xylo, the team that won the previous low ink, that kind of makes you think, okay, this traditional beta bracket team does have what it takes to get into low ink and win it. Run it all the way through untouched, I highly doubt. But it's not like we haven't seen this before, and there was a month where we would see something like this happen. It would be this month with Red Sun. But no, their Minnow Cup and SAC standings isn't enough for me to consider them the number 1 team. So who is the number 1 team this month? Well, you're going to have to come back for tomorrow. We're going to do a special Friday episode of the Popcast where we talk exclusively an hour and a half about the number 1 team. I don't want to do that. Let's just knock it out right now. Number 1. If any team truly benefits from the skill cap being lowered, it's the Evening Chickens. Recent results for the Evening Chickens wouldn't make you think they are a number 1 team here. 4th place in Minnow Cup Rainmaker, top 6 in low ink in February, top 8 in Minnow Cup and Splat Zones, and 4th place in low ink in January. Decent results, but number 1 team category? Well, let me make the case for it. Teams they have lost to: the Sea Boys, Battle Chip, Blazing Storm. They're not here. And even if they are not better than everyone else here, because there are teams that have beaten them that are in this top 10. Aqua Affinity has beaten them recently. I believe Red Sun has beaten them recently. I think Tonkin has beaten them recently. Everyone in this top 10 probably has a match at some point to where they can say they've beaten the Evening Chickens. You know why they say that? There's this thing. The guy who threw the most touchdowns passes in the NFL is also the same guy who's thrown the most interceptions in the NFL. Or at least at one point, I think Drew Brees might have taken over at some point. But that was Brett Favre. The more you play in these tournaments, yes, the more wins you get, but the more losses you get as well. The Evening Chickens are the most experienced team in this tournament, are the most consistently improved team in this tournament. There will be the only team at some point to have won both a Gamma bracket, a Beta bracket, and eventually will win Alpha brackets. It won't be easy for them, though. They will lose a match at some point. I think they will come from the loser's bracket. But in a wide open tournament like this one that we're going to be seeing right here, I trust experience. And nobody has more experience than the Evening Chickens. I don't feel comfortable, though. Again, I feel like this top 10 is completely wide open. But if I had to bet my channel points on one team, without anyone being truly above the other, I'm going to go with experience every single time. Would it surprise me if the Evening Chickens did not win this tournament? Yes. But if I have to put down channel points, I'm going with the experience the Evening Chicken has that nobody else in this top 10 does. Give me the Chickens. And with that, and with me cursing the Evening Chickens, they are now officially going to land somewhere in Gamma bracket and then drop on Sunday. But regardless, to everyone here listening, as usual, if you don't like where I put you on the top 10, if I didn't mention your team at all, if you think that I think that you suck, you're probably right. But there is always a way for you to prove me wrong. Do good on this Sunday. I always start off my Monday edition episodes of the Popcast after Low Ink with an apology to everything that I got wrong. So if you're a top 10 team and you win it and I put you somewhere at the bottom, I'll apologize. If I didn't even put you on the top 10 and you win this tournament, I'll apologize. And I'll give you all the credit you deserve. And if you are a team that I didn't mention earlier and you pop off, you win Gamma bracket, you make your first Beta bracket, come back on the Monday edition episode of the Popcast and we are going to give you all the praise and love that you deserve. Until then, make sure you sign up for this tournament, you boneheads. And do it now, because if you wait too long, you're going to be the guy in help desk crying on Saturday that nobody told you. Your old Uncle Popgun's told you doggone near 10 times now. Not just on the Popcast, but daily in the server. Let's go hit up somebody. Let's go raid somebody, and then let's get out of here. I always raid Fish. Is somebody else streaming Splatoon 2 that we've never raided before? I'm streaming Splatoon 2 right now. Great. Let's go visit this guy. I don't know. If this guy is like curses like a sailor or says really offensive things, that's not my fault. But let's go meet some random new people. Also say hi to this person from me, because I'm not sticking around. I'm immediately leaving. But hey, if you'd like to be a part of the podcast in any way, feel free to reach out to me on all of the social media things below. Mr_Popgun on Twitter, Popgun #5882 on Discord, YouTube at 25Popgun, Twitch at Popgun25. If you're looking for the VOD of these kinds of things, they're all saved on YouTube, not just exclusively on Twitch. Say hi to this person. Don't do anything dumb. Keep wearing your masks. I know some states are getting rid of the mask mandate. That you can rise above that. You can still keep your mask on. No state can tell you you have to take it off. Be smarter. Don't die.